studio. He comes in here to help us. Yeah, earlier today I heard him on the radio. I'm like, look at him. Yeah, that's the man doing what he does best. And he's here on Drive Chat today. The Drive Doctor, Dr. Yaw Osafo, he's the CEO of Medicas Hospital, Mampo Ekwapim, Medina Firestone, and of course, East Legon Hills. Dr. Yaw Osafo. Dr. Yaw Osafo. How you doing, brother? I'm so happy to see you. This is our first time
equally happy to
on
see
radio
you.
this year.
Yep.
How's the year started for you?
Fantastic. It's been good. But you know, when you are going to be a first-time father, that anticipation, 7th month, 8th month, you know, that anticipation. 9th month.
And then when you hear contractions.
I'm kind of experiencing a little bit of that, you know, because something is going to happen.
Only in this case, it's not Augusta.
No. And so, but we're going to best something very soon.
Absolutely.
So
we're
the
looking
year
forward
has been
to it.
fantastic so far. It started really, really well. And yes, we started last week here as well after a very short break.
Yeah.
The Drive Doctor needed to hide a bit.
Absolutely.
Recharge the batteries. And here we are, vroom vroom, ready to go.
I'm glad you're fully active now and fully recharged. Well, I heard a bit of your conversation last week when we started talking about designing a health plan for the year 2024. And even better, this morning as well, I heard you talk about obesity
on the Super Morning Show.
And how it's important that a lot of people take it very seriously. How you mentioned that it's a silent pandemic. Which
it is.
We probably are not paying attention to. So it's very critical that a lot of people, like we all, put together a health plan for our lives this year.
Absolutely. And Kwame, good afternoon to all our listeners. It's good to be here again. Kwame, indeed, we started the conversation, and I felt that the way we prepare plans for our businesses, we value our businesses. I want to see the same kind of priority given to our health. More often than not, the most important thing is not treated that way. We tend to emphasize other things and then pay lip service to that kind of that part of our lives. So indeed, I was happy when we had one of the listeners from last week send in a draft health plan.
And I'll tell you about it. She says, I'm a mother with 2 teenage boys under my care. I'm 43 years. I've had a relatively incident-free health life so far.
Right.
I enjoyed listening to the Drive Doctor last week as he walked us through the basic components of formulating a health plan. I've composed a draft. Would you be kind to pass it on to Dr. Osafo to peruse and advise? And I'm sure you have that draft with you.
I do, Kwame. I've been looking at it since last night, and I am going to, as promised, we're going to use that as a prototype and walk our audience or the listeners through it. She would benefit greatly from it. And I would encourage everybody who is listening, take a pen, take a paper, don't keep it in your head, put it on paper. But Kwame, let's do a bit of a recap. So what is a plan? A plan is a detailed proposal to realize something in the future. You know, so we always have to make it for a future period. It has to be detailed. It has to answer specific questions. And I can't make a plan for another person because you know yourself best. But what we're trying to do is to give the broad guidelines in making the plan. I also defined health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just merely the absence of disease. You know, so 3 key components: physical health, mental health, and then social health. More often than not, when people want to talk about a health plan, they talk about labs. I'm sorry, labs don't cut it. Yes. Or medical checks, then they say, oh, labs. But it has to cover different aspects of health. And these are the 3 broad categories. You have to cover your physical health issues.
Okay.
You have to cover your mental health issues. Hey, I mean, you know, mental health issues. So, blasters for you.
We are all mentally young.
These people, they don't know.
Bruised.
They shouldn't try it. So, come I did come and I saw you be dispersed from. Say local players be alcohol. There's will be a job book or Abidjan. No, Marco. Because someone try on top of all that's happening in Ghana. Our mental health is very unstable right now. They shouldn't try it. Right, so 1 in 4 people will experience some mental health problem in their lifetime, according to the WHO statistics. You know, so we shouldn't think that mental health challenges are far-fetched. Then the last bit that nobody ever talks about is social health.
Okay.
All right, human beings are social beings. You know, your connections and your network and how well you relate to others in society, it's a very important part of your health. You know, so what kind of social support structures do you have? How well do you get along with others at the workplace, at church, in old students groups? I mean, I'm sure you've been part of certain WhatsApp groups. Now, and then people have left their group. Then you add the person again. Then somebody to leave. And, you know, some people, they just can't form very stable social networks. And a health plan would look at all of those things. And then, of course, your past medical history, your family history, very, very important to tailor make your plan to suit your needs. So that's what we discussed last week. Now, let's come to my dear friend, 43-year-old, female, 2 teenage boys. The first thing that went off is, Mommy, I was stressed.
I was stressed.
I will tell you no lie.
2 teenage boys.
Oh, 2 teenage boys.
God.
Mommy was stressed. Oh, Kwame, she will gray. She will start graying in places that she didn't know gray hair could come up. I will mention in anatomical parts, but she will start seeing gray hair in certain parts of her body that she had never dreamed of. Yes. So the first thing is that I want her to pay particular attention. I think she also mentioned something about being a single mother. I think she mentioned something about being single. That is what made me put down mental health as my number 1 tip for her in terms of drawing up her health plan. That she should make sure that she gets the right kind of support structures. Teenagers, boys are at that period in their life where they like to push boundaries. So you set the boundaries, you're creating a problem for yourself. Last week, a couple of days ago rather, I visited my one of my maternal aunties, and then there was this young man who was cleaning the home, and then there was this point that teacher be papa no see debut and you mean teacher be me teacher no bre teacher be bre. So sometimes when you set these boundaries for teenagers, you're just giving them something to jump over, to push. You know, so they'll push boundaries, they'll test you as a parent. Boys in particular are very, very, very adventurous. This is a time that they want to explore the world in a way that sometimes you wonder what kind of brain is in there. But I think we've all been in that stage before.
Right.
They want to try things as well. So she will need the appropriate support structures. And this is why she has to pay a visit to her family physician, or if in a place like Medical's Hospital where we have a very good mental health unit, you can come in, and I know that Dr. Levina can show you some coping mechanisms.
Okay.
You know, a lot of the stresses, we can't do away with them. What are you going to do with the children? They are your kids. They're going nowhere.
But you fossil bomb.
Fossil. You know, so how do you cope under so much stress? I'm sure she has to work, single mother, to try and also cope within these economic circumstances, and then also deal with the children. So that's the number 1 tip for her. Number 2, she's in that age group that unfortunately, we realized one very important physical health condition, which is cervical cancer. Kwame, the month of January is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. So WHO, has set that month aside to create a lot of awareness about the scourge of cervical cancer, and we don't talk about it enough. But it does a lot of bad things to females. But when we talk about even cervical cancer, I'm particularly interested in the organism that has been fingered as the cause in most cases, which is human papilloma virus, HPV, human papilloma virus. But I mean, this virus can also infect boys or males and give them a problem we call genital warts. Genital warts. You have this cauliflower-like growth over the penis and over the scrotum and in the groin area. All right, and it can, although it's benign, sometimes if you leave it untreated, it can have cancerous transformation as well. Fortunately, there is a vaccine. Cervical cancer is also one of the only treatable cancer, curable cancers. But unfortunately, it's number 2 behind breast cancer in terms of cause of death of women in this country. So, once there's a vaccine, I would encourage everybody to get vaccinated at the appropriate time. What's the appropriate time? These teenage boys are in that age bracket. So we say that the vaccine is best given before the onset of sexual activity.
Okay.
Before onset of sexual activity. So I mean, say
I'm starting them. Sir?
Yes. I did an informal study and I got an average age of 12.
Are you serious?
Yes. We just took a poll around a family gathering and I was asking everybody to be quite honest and tell me what they know. Yes, that was the average age. And one of my aunties in the US mentioned about 10. She was like, oh yes. It starts very, very early. So the vaccine is very, very important. And I would encourage this, our friend, to pay a visit to the hospital and talk to the family physician about the cervical cancer vaccine.
Okay.
The last point for the boys is that they are the age where they begin to explore things that they are not supposed to explore. Drugs. They say almost any recreational drugs. But I don't see the recreation in it. Oh yeah, Kwame, where's what wrong in them groom? Is it recreational drugs? These are narcotics. At that age, they would explore. So it's very, very important that we talk to them about substance abuse.
Okay.
Alcohol, and then a lot of these narcotic medications.
Okay.
It can completely ruin their life at that age group. They become addicted to it, they will steal for it, and it will lead them into a lot of trouble. So that's the health plan too for the teenage boys. Sorry, for hair, I missed 2 important points that I wanted to make about hair in particular. Monthly breast examination and then yearly breast examination. So I wanted to put down that this year she would visit the hospital for a clinical breast examination, meaning the breast will be examined by a physician, a doctor, or by an experienced nurse.
Okay.
Or a physician assistant who's trained can also do that. The monthly breast exam is very, very important because sometimes a woman comes to me, Kwame, no for saying media, me guardian also. You are guardian for some breasts. You don't have one, but we are all guardians. We have But as a doctor, I may not know how the breast feels like on a regular basis. So we can actually, although we are experienced healthcare professionals, we can actually miss some lumps in the breast. So we encourage women who own their breast. It is a part of their bodies. They touch it on a regular basis so they would know if there is a lump in it. So once you come into the hospital, we will teach you how to perform what we call self-breast examination, which you do every month. And then if you pick out some red flags, then you can come to us and then we will do the rest. 43 is also that age group where you begin to put on weight. And I talked about obesity this morning extensively. And we're seeing what the Ghana Demographic Health Survey is saying, particularly about women. You know, the rate of obesity in women is far higher than in men. You know, so it is really a problem with women in terms of obesity, and it creeps up on them with the childbirth, and then they also get into that age bracket where it's not easy for women to do sports.
Yeah.
You know, we have a cultural restriction about you seeing a woman playing some sport, especially at that age. In secondary school, they will try, but the moment they finish it, they get to uni and all of those. It's not my rubber.
Yeah.
You know, so that's that inhibition right there and then. So, Kwame, these are some of the tips, the areas that I would want her to focus on for herself and then for the two teenage boys that she has under her care.
Okay. If you have any questions, you can call us on 0302-216-541 or send us a WhatsApp message on 055-1111-997. That's 055-1111-997. Or you can call us on 0302-216-541. We're talking about the health plan for the year. You know, I had a comment I wanted to share with you guys on the Super Morning Show.
Okay.
But I didn't get to do that. So since you're here, I'll say it. You know, you remember you talked about how even with food choices, oftentimes women would go for things that are sweet. Culturally, women will go for drinks that are sweeter than men would.
Yes.
And I thought to share that this year, Valentine's Day, no woman should expect chocolates and ice cream and whatnot. This year, we are giving you...
What do you mean?
We are giving you contumely. We're giving you contumely, spinach. We're giving you carrots, cucumber. No. We won't give you cucumber. Don't use it for that sense. We won't give you cucumber.
And then it's going to take you off air.
So this year, expect a fruit salad or some green salad. And since chocolate there, because it's National Chocolate Day.
National Chocolate Day.
You know, we'll give you a bar. No ice cream and things like that.
Get up. Yes. But yes, quite unfortunately, you know, that's how we swing. Hardly. That's why I put them on the spot. I was like, would you women ever buy us guys like a chocolate or you know, a box of cookies or no? So it's something that happens in our society, and unfortunately these things are calorie dense.
Right.
And it's then difficult to work it off. And Kwame, you know more about working off calories,
oh boy.
you know, in the gym, what we have to do to work off that small, you know, bull fruit or bar of chocolate, you know, that you take down.
Oh, that reminds me, actually, Yaira banned me of bull fruit. That's so sad. I'm so sad.
Bull fruit is
I can't eat bull fruit and plantain chips.
What is
that? Okay. Anyway, but yeah, I'm grateful. These are very essential tips that we all need to take note. And a friend sends a message and is asking, where can one get the HPV vaccine in Ghana?
Right, it's readily available in most health care institutions, especially a lot of the public ones. You would find them, but again, they can reach out to us at the end of the show. I'm sure when we put out the number, and then we can assist them in that regard. It is. I know that it has been around for a long time. We haven't spoken a lot about it, and that's all part of the Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. One important point that I also missed out under the physical health is physical inactivity. It's very, very important that as we grow older, we tend to think we slow down, but most of the time it's deliberate. We decide to slow down. But if you decide to exercise, I know some people who still run the marathon, you know, at 60 years.
Yeah.
They do the marathon and they do it easily.
Absolutely.
You know, but you will think that, hey, no, at this age I can't. But you have to keep it in. I'm seeing a lot of teenage individuals also being withdrawn from engaging in physical activity. They jump into a car, they go to school, They come back in a car. They come back straight home because they're going to have extra classes. Then they would watch some TV, and then they are doing their homework again. Then it's back to sleep. And that kind of cycle just goes on and on and on and on. And these days, everybody is living in a walled house in a lot of places. So even just roaming about the neighborhood, that kind of thing. So we're seeing childhood obesity also coming on strongly. So I would encourage him, despite they say the world is not so safe anymore. But Kwame, look, this is Ghana we're talking about. Sometimes you should TV, no dodo. What happens in America, the knife stabbings that happen in London, we don't experience those things. So it's a very, very free and a very, very, very safe country, contrary to what people think by watching a lot of this. So I really want to encourage for promotion of physical activity, some form of sport for those teenage boys. And for herself as a 43-year-old female, she should find a sport. She should find something that doesn't become like you are going to the gym to go and do some tedious thing.
Yeah.
Find something you enjoy to do, swim, learn how to play tennis, for example.
I was going to say I would suggest tennis to anybody who cares.
Right,
Honestly. Because that's actually what I found now. And it keeps me very active. It's a sport that you can play till you're 70, 80 or whenever it is.
Absolutely.
And it's a very safe sport as well.
Very safe. Exercises the entire body.
Absolutely.
Both aerobics and even physical as well. So these are some of the things. Lastly, don't be shy to approach us about mental health issues, especially with the men. Because we are sometimes too macho. We think that admitting that we are under stress, it's a bit too much for us. We feel broken, we feel unaccomplished or unappreciated, and all of those things. It doesn't take anything away from us as men. And I think too many men suffer quietly, and it is not easy for anybody to admit that they are having mental health issues or they feel depressed at a point. Please feel free, call us. We want to hear. We know how to listen, and we will help you cope with it. So I'm ever ready to receive, and together with the team at Medical's Hospital, the dietitian, Yaira, is ready to receive you.
Yeah.
The clinical psychologist and the mental health team are ready to see you. The OBGYN is ready to see you. The general surgeon is ready to give you your colonoscopy if you are 45 years and above. We're ready to check out your prostate. If you are male and you are 40 years, just call us. We're still in January, the first month. We've got 11 more months of this year to go. I don't want to see anyone in the middle of a crisis. And there are a lot of things that we can avoid.
This is Dr. Osafo's way of saying, please don't stress me out this year. So please get your checks done. So he fixes it now.
Yes.
Not later in the year you're calling him that Dr. Meha. Doc, we understand. We get the message. And we'll give you a very comfortable year.
I'm my mental health. I have stress and dust. I say,
That's who the result of it. You see.
Oh dear.
Doc, how do we contact you now?
Right. So our phone number 0501 477 340. Our WhatsApp number 0501 477 340. You can also reach us on our social media handles. At Medicals GH is our Twitter handle, and then our Facebook page or wall is Medicals Hospital. I think you can also find us on Instagram at Medicals GH.
Dr. Yaw Osafo is the CEO of Medicals Hospital. Doctor, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Kwame.
And we'll see you next year. Thank you. Happy New Year to you again. And we hope to have an exciting new year with you. A healthy new year with Dr. Osafo.